How do you lift a metal machine weighing dozens of tons into midair? You might imagine giant propellers, jet engines, or at least an air cushion system like a hovercraft. Sounds reasonable. But Japanese engineers looked at the problem and said, "We don't need any of that. Let's just make it cold." How cold? Minus 269 degrees Celsius, only 4 degrees above absolute zero. If minus 10 degrees Celsius already makes you shiver through a Hanoi winter, 269 degrees Celsius is the kind of cold where even the idea of shivering gives up. It's closer to deep space than anything we experience on Earth. That extreme temperature is the heart of the SC maglev superconducting magnets submerged in liquid helium, a rare gas chilled into a liquid state to reach a level of cold capable of freezing electrical resistance. It sounds like science fiction. But the real strangeness begins with the word superconducting. At normal temperatures, electricity moving through a wire behaves like someone pushing through a crowded market, constant collisions, energy loss, heat. That resistance is unavoidable. Cool, a superconducting material close to absolute zero. Though, and something bizarre happens, resistance drops to zero. Not almost zero. Zero. Imagine gliding across a perfect ice rink with no friction at all. One gentle push could send you sliding forever if nothing stopped you. Electric current in a superconductor behaves in a similar way, flowing endlessly without losing energy. And when a lossless current runs through a coil, it creates an incredibly strong magnetic field, strong enough to lift an entire train weighing hundreds of tons off the ground. To put that into perspective, a single train car can weigh around 30 to 40 tons, roughly the mass of 24 stacked SUVs. Multiply that by an entire train set, and everything is suspended by invisible magnetic forces. No cables, no wheels, no physical contact. You're sitting inside a block of metal cooled to near cosmic temperatures, held steady between invisible magnetic walls within a U-shaped concrete guideway. If physics has a sense of humor, this might be one of its best jokes. But lifting the train is only half the story. How does it stay centered instead of drifting sideways? The answer lies in something called magnetic flux locking. When the superconducting magnets interact with coils embedded in the guideway walls, the system generates a balance of pushing and pulling forces. If the train tilts left, the magnetic forces on that side instantly adjust to nudge it back toward the middle. Drift right, and the opposite side reacts the same way. Picture yourself standing between two friends, strong enough to lift weights for a living. Lean left, and the person on your left pushes you back upright. Lean right, and the other pulls you back. Now imagine that correction happening thousands of times every second. The result is a train hovering steadily about 10 centimeters above the track. 10 centimeters sounds tiny, at 500 kilometers (c). Though, that small gap marks the difference between silk-smooth motion and vibrations that feel like a construction drill. With mechanical friction gone, only one enemy remains: air. And at those speeds, air stops feeling like a breeze. It becomes an invisible wall the train must slice through. That's why nearly all the energy goes into overcoming aerodynamic drag instead of wheel friction. It's also why the SC maglev can reach 603 kilometers per hour faster than many airplanes while they're still rolling down the runway. And here's the fascinating part. Everything begins with one simple idea: make it colder. Take a step back and picture the passenger cabin. Beneath the floor sit superconducting magnets bathed in liquid helium. This isn't the helium you inflate birthday balloons with. It's cooled to near 269 degrees Celsius. Cold enough to make ordinary materials brittle, like cookies if exposed directly. The cooling system has to run constantly to maintain superconductivity. If the temperature rises, the material loses its special properties. Resistance returns, and the entire magic trick disappears. Sounds intense. Right. That's the price of performing a levitation act every single day. And the funny thing is, passengers don't feel like they're floating because of a quantum-level phenomenon. They just notice a smoother stand, faster ride with less vibration. Heavy physics works quietly beneath them while they scroll through their phones. Next time someone says physics is boring, you might ask, did you know people are using temperatures close to outer space to make a train fly just above the ground? It sounds like magic, but it's engineering. And maybe the most remarkable part isn't how fast the train travels. It's the idea that by changing just one conditioned temperature, we can reshape how an entire machine interacts with the world. Who knows? One day you might tell this story to someone else, and they'll stare at the ice in their drink and wonder, what happens if we make it even colder?